Welcome. All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the May 16th Board of Public Works and Safety. We are recording and streaming this meeting live on City Madison YouTube channel, so people can watch it who aren't here, and also watch it at a later date. So, Clerk, may we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Eaglin?
Here.
Mayor Courtney?
Here.
Mr. Carlo?
Here.
All right, thank you. Board, have you had an opportunity to review the minutes from May the 2nd? If so, we'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes, please.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes for the May 2nd meeting.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Thank you. No adjustments, I see. Unfinished business. Is anyone here representing the Hispanic Cultural Awareness Day or the street closing for Derma Bar? Okay, we'll leave those on the table. New business. Brian Jackson here representing the City of Madison's Utility Department. You want to talk about a water main relocation contract?
Yes, it's an INDOT project. It's going to be at Ferry Street and State Road 56. In November of last year, you guys approved setting aside some money for the stormwater infrastructure project there. In your packets, the paperwork, the letter, the agreement from Butler, Fairman, and Seifert between the city and us for the upcoming work and for the lump sum cost of said work for $9,000. I mean, INDOT, if you remember, INDOT will be installing a new storm sewer. They're starting at that intersection and be in the right of way and then come down Ferry Street and be on some of our property. The estimated cost of the relocation for the water portion is $60,942. Since most of it's on our property, we don't have to pay that. The $9,000 is what we have to pay.
Okay.
And after today's meeting, I just wanted to get you guys be aware. Once I sign this, I mean, you guys okayed me to sign it at the last meeting. Once I sign it and send it to them, they'll invoice us, and I'll pay the $9,000. And it's possible it could be a little bit lower than that or higher than that, depending upon costs at the time. I'm just getting you guys apprised of what's going on.
Thank you. Brian, thank you for bringing this to our attention. And did INDOT compensate us for using our right-of-way? I thought there was some consideration for the project by INDOT.
We're using their right-of-way, and they're using
Okay.
our right-of-way.
Okay.
Right. So anything that they have to replace in their right-of-way that's ours, we have to pay for. That's where the $9,000
But I thought they also acquired some property from us that had some
Just
consideration
as
attached
an
to it.
easement, though.
Just as an easement, okay,
Right.
Okay.
Now, they did have to acquire some property, but not from us.
okay.
And that's just more or less what
When
it is. Just
when
an
will
update
this
of-
work begin, Brian?
That I don't know yet. It was supposed to have begun already, so everything's really behind on INDOT, because I asked them the same question.
Will there
That's-
be any street closures or anything?
Yes, there will be. They will probably, when they're actually doing the work in 56, and that's what I pointed out to them, they're going to have a detour. And for state ride detours, now for them, it's got to probably start way back at the last state intersection to the east, which is probably in Vivi. But now for us, everybody's probably just going to go down Vaughn Drive. Anybody that knows the area is just going to go down Vaughn Drive and go around it and come back up. But people that are coming from VV, they're going to see the detour, and they're going to have to go up 129, probably come over 250 and around like that.
How about the real heavy trucks and vehicles?
That's what that
Even more
mainly is
important
for.
for them.
Yeah, that's what it's mainly for, is for the heavy traffic. Like I said, for local people, they'll know a
Yeah.
way to get around.
Right.
But, yeah, I don't know how long it's going to be closed yet. But once I get more information, and they've got a firm date, because everything's been pushed so far back. This was actually supposed to start last year. But
And last question I have, and Carl's points were good ones, which was about the traffic management, because the truck traffic in particular is going to need to be alerted long before they get to Madison on the
right,
east side.
they'll have to be detoured. Really, that's not so bad, because you can come up here and take them 421 out. So this end is not so bad. It's just heading
East of here,
east is where
right.
they're going to have issues. But they have that problem all over the state when they have repairs like this.
Brian, I don't think we've worked with BF and S before, but are they the engineers working with the state is how we're
Correct.
connected with them?
Yes,
Okay.
that's INDOT's. And we could have got our separate engineer, but it's easier for us just to use them and have them as our contractor also,
Okay.
and engineer. But it's primarily an INDOT job, and they work for INDOT.
Okay.
It's not good to have two contractors, two engineers on these little jobs like
Yeah,
this.
no, I understand. understand. Well, I'm glad that the state is focusing on that area,
And once
too.
we get a start date, I'll let you guys know.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you.
Any questions for Brian? I'll move that we approve the contract with BF&S for the sum of $9,000 and authorize our superintendent, Brian Jackson, to execute the agreement with the engineering firm.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Thank you. Thank you, Brian. All right, well, moving into quite a bit of the agenda are event plans for several events across the community, many of which we already approved street closure requests for. I want to say at the onset, I want to thank everybody who has taken time to complete the event plan. I definitely want to thank Hannah Fagan and her staff for all the work that's gone in creating guidelines that are now online that are in fillable form where members of our community who are organizing events can see what we're looking for so that we can put on and help host safe and successful events. I think the board will agree that we're going to start seeing more information than we've ever seen before about each of these individual events, which I think is fantastic. I will also say that this is still an evolving process. We've gone from essentially having no formal process or structure around event management in the city as it rolls through for safety and traffic and street closures, facility uses of facilities, as well as utilities and other forms, to now having structure. But it's still an evolving process because what we want to make sure we're doing is something that's efficient and effective and is also commensurate with the level of spectators that will be attending each of these events. So we do expect that we'll continue to refine this process to a point where it gets really simple for small events with small spectators, such as a wedding, for example, in one of our parks, or movies in the park, as we'll talk about, to where there are guidelines that Indiana Department of Homeland Security has already published out for communication purposes for large events and also community events. We can pivot off of that information for the smaller events and then be more structured and more defined for the larger events that have big footprints and large impacts outside of the footprint. So that was the goal of improving how event management occurred through Board of Public Works. So with that said, would like to invite, is Sheila here? Sheila, come on up. And what we have in front of us is a resolution for closing of street. I'll turn it over to the clerk if she wants to read the resolution and assign a resolution number, and we'll get started on the event plan questions. Thank you for being here, Sheila.
Resolution number 35B-2022, a resolution of the Board of Public Works and Safety of the City of Madison, Indiana, regarding a street closing for the Jefferson County United Way Golf Cart UTV Parade. Whereas there has been a request filed by Sheila Coffin on behalf of Jefferson County United Way for a street closing in connection with the Jefferson County United Way Golf Cart UTV Parade to be held on Friday, July 22nd, 2022. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Public Works and Safety of the City of Madison, Indiana, that Vaughn Drive between Ferry Street and Broadway Street shall be closed on Friday, July 22nd, 2022 from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Be it further resolved by the Board of Public Works and Safety of the City of Madison, Indiana, that said street as closed shall be under the supervision and control of the Jefferson County United Way Committee at the times noted above for the year 2022, adopted the 16th day of May 2022.
Morning, Sheila. Welcome. Welcome back. This is a repeat event that you guys have hosted on the river. Tell us a little bit about the event, and then we'll go into some questions on the event overview.
Okay, so the purpose of the event is to draw attention to Jefferson County United Way, kind of some marketing purpose as well as some raise some funds. So what we do, we meet at the parade, line everyone up, go down before Bicentennial Park, before the judges. They're judged on 3 different categories, and they circle at Broadway and come back for the final judging, which is People's Choice.
Gotcha. And the footprint again is Vaughn Drive between Ferry Streets and Broadway Streets. So I'm assuming closing each of the north-south entrances onto Vaughn
Right.
Drive for that period of time. So let me ask about the event itself. It says it's a golf cart UTV parade.
Right.
Maybe describe that, because I'm always thinking about UTVs across the community. And I know that you've done this before. Tell us how it went last year, and particularly, you know, do you have enough volunteers? Maybe describe how many volunteers you have to make sure the UTVs stay in the event footprint.
Okay. Last year, we did not have any UTVs enter. We have very few. Super ATV has been a sponsor in the past, so we allow them, sponsors, to enter their golf cart or their UTV. So we have maybe 3 to 4 generally. Last year, like I said, we didn't have any, but maybe 3 to 4 UTVs. They are trailered in. Some of them will park the trailer along our footprint there and then unhouse their UTV. A couple of them have parked up in the Jefferson parking area, left their trailers, and then taken their UTV down to our footprint. So as far as volunteers, everyone that receives money from us is required to volunteer at this event, so we have one posted at all the barricades. And I have 21 board members, and most of them help support the event as well, so that's where I
Okay.
get my volunteers.
Okay. On the trailering, I'm glad to hear that they're trailering. What might work better than you said the Jefferson Street parking lot at Jefferson and
A
Second?
couple of them have done that in the past, yes.
It'd be better probably if they used the Vaughn Drive. So the city owns the property at the corner of Vaughn and Jefferson, and that right now is just kind of an area that's storing some materials for the city as well as Madison Regatta. That would probably be a better staging area than outside the footprint. And really what I'm getting at there is all of the UTVs should only be inside the footprint. They shouldn't be out on any of the city streets. And if they're staging at an area outside of the footprint, then I think that, you know, they might be driving across other areas rather than being inside the footprint. So I would recommend that you use that corner lot
So it's like if
and
you're going down
advise
Jefferson.
participants
Okay.
that could be it's a wide open space where they could trailer in there and park the vehicles with the trailers, and they're inside the footprint.
Okay.
I think that would work good.
Yeah, I agree. I had one question, in your event overview. It says Broadway will not be shut down, but then going on down into the next paragraph, it says, after they pass the judges' stand, they then move to Broadway, go up Broadway and circle back.
Yes, so
So,
they go up to that where it's broken up in the center and just kind of circle and come back. We don't close Broadway off, but it's closed off up to Broadway on Vaughn Street.
Okay,
And then Dan or whoever's leading them will circle them around and park them in front of Bicentennial Park.
make a U-turn on
Right.
On Vaughn Drive?
Right,
Okay,
without having to shut off Broadway.
okay,
Okay, so and then I think Dave's point's a good one. So they're not driving north on Broadway to turn around. You're saying they're going to essentially be right there at the foot of Broadway and Vaughn and do a U-turn.
Yes.
Okay. I know one of the things we're always concerned about is there's a couple of businesses on Vaughn Drive that we don't want to block access to. So is there any blocking of access to either Chillbillies or the Lighthouse that's on the river?
Chillbilly's entrance is on the side, so that is not blocked.
Okay.
The Lighthouse, the parking would be blocked off until they circle back around, then it would be opened. Not all the parking, but right in front of it.
and they will be notified
Yes, we have.
of
our
the
letter.
event and the temporary closure, so.
Yes.
Will you be staging like an ambulance service down there during the event in case there is a medical emergency?
I didn't have any plans to, but if that's a requirement, I can look into
Well,
that.
not only is it a requirement, but just, KDH is always good about coming to these events and
Okay.
covering. Wouldn't hurt to ask if we could just kind of sit down.
Is this an event where there's spectators or only basically participants? Because the concern, and you'll see this kind of, really be injected in a lot of these event plans, which is how do you protect spectators from an accident or an emergency, whether it be a weather emergency, an accident with a UTV or a golf cart, for example, hitting a spectator or crashing. And that's to Carl's point too, which is, how are you planning for an emergency, whether it be, like I said, a weather-related or an accident that's occurring there?
We do have, like I say, Captain Dan Sly is gonna be in charge of that.
Okay, I did read that.
So he is heading up the safety as well as leading the parade to make sure it goes at a slow pace. So him and Jim Hickerson, which is retired state police, is also on our safety plan. As far as the spectators, they can come on the sidewalk, just like they're, you know, they walk on Bond Drive sidewalk anyway, so they will have access to that. We're also doing the same night as Movie in the Park and the food truck event, so I'm expecting more spectators than usual. But they are not allowed onto the street while we are parading.
Okay. I'm sorry, what was the same event that's going on here? There's a Movies in the Park on this date, July 22nd? Okay.
I thought overall your plan was good, reading through it and thorough, but the question I had was, what's your plan about keeping the spectators at a distance from the golf carts? You know, keeping them at a safe distance while the golf carts are parading, so.
Well, we have safety patrol that will keep them onto the sidewalks. They go at a very slow rate, very, very slow, so I'm not worried about, you know, them going out of control. But I am worried about keeping people on the sidewalks, so that's our plan, to keep them on the sidewalks until they come around and park. And it doesn't take, I don't know, if it even takes 30 minutes to go down the street and turn around and come back and park. Last year we had 10 participants, the most we've had has been 32. So it doesn't last an extreme amount of time.
And where's the judges stand going to be? I mean, for the judging of the parade?
Right in front of Bicentennial Park.
Okay.
The parking areas,
Okay.
staging area.
So that should be out of the way of the movie there in the park at night and all that.
Yes, and we
South
intend to be
Walnut.
gone, totally gone by then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're usually wrapped up between 8:30 and 8:45.
The only concern I have is the blocking of the parking for the lighthouse. I mean, that's a Friday night at prime time, 6 to 9 p.m. And you've done that before, and did you have any issues?
Never had any complaints.
Okay.
No. And it wouldn't, our intention is not to block that area the whole day or even the whole evening, maybe from the time it starts from 7 to whenever we finish 8:30.
Okay.
They would have parking west of Broadway and then on South Broadway.
Yeah,
on both
they would have,
sides.
definitely there'd be more,
A
and
little bit
parking
more
on
walking,
Broadway.
yeah,
And
yeah.
parking on Broadway. In part of this process also has a notification of business owners and affected residents. You don't have any affected residents, but will you be notifying both businesses that the event's happening?
Yes, we have 3 businesses identified, Rockin' on the River, Thunder,
Oh, that's right.
Lighthouse, and
That one too.
Chillbillies.
Oh, okay.
So yes, we do have our letter. A draft letter was attached to this, and then we will send it out to those businesses.
Okay.
How many years have you been doing this?
I think that's our 4th year.
Fourth year?
I'm out, color code shows up.
Yeah, it shows really good. Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, you're printing color. Board, any other questions?
No.
Any comments or questions from the audience? Entertain a motion to approve Resolution 35B-2022.
I make a motion to approve resolution number 35-B-2022.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Sheila, thank you for doing this and giving the detail, provided the detail that you did.
Good job.
And I will tell you that I feel confident that it'll be a safe event because Captain Sly will be in there helping you manage the event, and if anybody knows about public safety, it's going to be him. So thank you for getting him involved.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so that was the only one that we had not previously approved a street closure request for, so let's move on and talk about the other events. We do have the event planned for the Riverfront Run Car Show. Fortunately, Chief Washer had to attend a meeting for the Regatta Festival this morning, and we can talk about any questions you might have with regard to the outline that I'm sure the chief did all on his own. Right, Kim?
Right, Kim?
But I thought, again, getting this type of information was really helpful to understand what's going on. And this has become a fantastic regional event with over 500 cars. I didn't really have any questions that I couldn't follow up with Chief directly on. Unless Kim is here ready to answer some questions about it. I did like the fact that there was a trolley pickup and drop off at Broadway Street Gate to shuttle people from the event up to downtown. That's fantastic collaboration there. And there was definitely a good plan here for crowd management in the emergency vehicle description of entering in on Broadway Street and exiting from Mill or Broadway Street or West Street. So we've got lots of point of ingress and egress for emergency vehicles, and all of the gates are going to be manned. This is you're there every year. I go down and volunteer on that morning too. Have you come down to the car show before? It's a great event. It really is.
Yeah, we'll be checking cars in again this year, Bob, if you don't.
I'll be happy
You
to.
would volunteer.
It's a lot of fun. That's really how you get a great view of all the vehicles coming in through, is if you're at the gate when they come in and check in. And you also get to talk to the drivers, where they're coming from, which club they're in, and what city they're driving here from, which is a great collection of people that come to Madison for a fantastic event. Hopefully, it won't be 40 degrees this year, Memorial Day weekend, like it was last year, and freezing. It was cold last year, wasn't it?
Yeah. Mayor, I'd like to commend the committee for putting this together. I thought it's a well-written plan. You know, that it makes me feel good that there's been some thought put into this. And along with the previous one that we reviewed. But it just, gives me some idea of what all is going on behind the scenes of this event, that things have been thought out and planned. So, and like I said, overall, I think it's a very good plan, so.
I agree, and I think we need to share all of these plans across the organization, if we haven't already, Hannah, particularly, streets, parks, fire, and MPD, so that our public safety as well as facility management and street management are aware of what's going on with the various different events, because it looks like we have some overlap in some instances. We might have an event happening just like we talked about with regard to the car show, but there's also a parallel event occurring in Bicentennial Park. That has the potential of increasing spectators, as Sheila had mentioned. So we have to be mindful of what that impact could be. I would like to have the board officially approve each of these safety plans as we go through. So I'll move that we approve the safety plan presented for the Riverfront Run Car Show.
Second the mayor's motion.
Any discussion, comments, or questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Move on to the event plan for movies in the park. I have quite a few questions on this one. Ashlyn, I want to say you did a really good job putting this together.
Thanks. And Ashlyn, how old are you? 19. How difficult was this? Not hard.
Not hard. Well, again, it's an evolving process. A lot of work's gone into really just try to put some structure behind this, because there is a lot of moving parts to it. But this is a Movies in the Park plan for all, are there four
There's
showings?
5 total.
5 total showings. Some of them correlate to other events that are occurring. And the good news about this one is it's all happening in a single facility by Centennial Park, which is in the heart of our downtown. There is one comment in here. This is a free event, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so there was one comment here about tickets being sold. Just wanted to confirm that.
Yeah, I wondered about that.
And describe the movies, if you don't mind, because it's also a pitch for the movies, and they're happening.
So the first movie is actually along with the car show for their drive-in that they do, and it's a double feature. We decided to do a double feature, so I'll let Ashley give the rundown of the movies.
The first one's Encanto, and then Jurassic Park will be following it. Our second movie, I believe, is Sing 2 in July. That will also have the animal shelter is doing an adoption event there, so we'll have that there
Great.
as well. In
Make sure we
June-
promote that.
Yeah, in the June, we're doing Madison for Regatta. After that, we're showing Jungle Cruise and then Hocus Pocus.
Leading up to Halloween,
Yeah.
even better.
Yes.
So are we coordinating with food trucks? Because I did notice,
So, we're not gonna announce that yet, because we have a press release ready to go, but we're adding an event. We're gonna do Food Truck Fridays on our movies, so we scheduled all our movies except for the Regatta movie, because we work with the Regatta committee to make sure that falls on the Wednesday. But we will be adding a food truck event, so you'll have a different event safety plan for that. So Kim's event does have food trucks as noted in her safety plan, well, the car show, Kenny and Kim's. But with ours, we're adding food trucks. They'll be stationed at that little lot at the foot of Bicentennial on Vaughn Drive, the parking lot. And we'll probably just close off that one road right there just to provide safe traffic back
Central.
and forth.
Okay.
But you'll have a different event planned for that, because that's going to require a lot different than just the movies in the
Right.
park. So they're separate events, but they're on the same night, hosted by the city.
okay. And what's your favorite part of Sing 2?
Never watched it. Never seen it either.
What's your favorite part of Madison?
I've never seen it.
That's, okay, just for clarification, we're establishing a policy right now.
They race the boats.
You have to
I'll get
watch
that.
the movie Madison if you're gonna work here, and Hoosiers.
Yeah, I have both seen
And
those.
if you really want to get exciting, you can watch Some Came Running.
Yeah.
You get literally, those are, I mean, Madison's famous for being a movie backdrop, so we'd appreciate it.
I can tell you my favorite part of Hocus Pocus.
The part where they fly on the
When they
on the
sing
brooms.
and all the little children come.
Yeah, that's a pretty good part.
I suggest
No.
next year on the car show weekend that we have American Graffiti.
Okay.
Ooh, it's an awesome show.
It is.
Yeah.
So our concern is these are supposed to be family friendly, and that's why we did a double feature, is because
I think
some
it's a PG.
parents
I think it's a PG.
in the olden days.
No,
So
well.
we have to be careful with what was rated PG in like the 80s versus what's rated PG now.
Grease would be a great
That
show
is
for a car show
not
weekend.
family appropriate.
But we're trying to stay family appropriate. We had a discussion with Mindy before doing this, and I know we've shown Grease before. So it really is, it's an open park. We didn't want to get complaints of parents with young kids saying, oh, well, this isn't family friendly for the kickoff, which is why we did a double feature this year. But I do think maybe down the road, since it is an elder crowd that comes in, we could look at doing something like Grease instead.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic, and the action plan was very good. I like the fact, again, that you've got great, graphics here for the venue set out, and I didn't have any concerns at all with the safety plan. It is generally a small crowd, but if you are combining it with another event, it could be double that size easy, particularly if you're on that first one where the golf cart and UTV parade is happening. You could get several hundred people down there, and they're like, oh, there's movies in the park, let's stick around for that.
And there's gonna be food trucks too, so that was part of the reason of bringing in food trucks too, was to grow that crowd, because the movies cost us a lot of money, and when we just have about 100 people there, it's not worth it. So,
Good deal.
more to come.
Do your do your double feature, you could have a midnight matinee.
Yeah, oh, there we go.
Do that, and maybe there's some, I don't know if we've considered this, but maybe there's some revenue participation with the food trucks to help offset the cost of the movies.
Well, the movies are all covered 100% by sponsorship. So we did a sponsorship video, which you actually have not seen, even though you're a star in it.
Scary.
That will be shown before every single movie. So all our events are covered by community sponsors. So
Great.
they're just expensive. We
Okay.
cut back on the movies this year, and instead of doing 8, we did 5. But they're covered by sponsorship. We fully fundraised for the movies.
Good job on that, too. And thank you to all of our sponsors who are supporting all the events across the community this summer. All right, well, I'll make a motion that we approve the safety plan or the event management plan for movies in the park.
Second the mayor's motion.
Any additional comments or questions? Comments or questions from the audience? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed? Good job. Ashlyn, thank you so much for all you do. All right, here's a bigger one, because this is near and dear, which is the Hometown USA Parade. We'll keep having Ashlyn up here to talk about this one too. This one's a little more complicated.
Yes, it is. What would you like to know?
Well, just give us a rundown for those who are watching here today, the date of the event, and what is Hometown USA Parade, and maybe some of the changes in the parade rules you were describing earlier.
Yes. So the Hometown USA Parade is the parade that happens.
And Kim, thank you for, as well, because Kim is involved in the parade too, so you're
Yeah,
welcome to.
she's our parade coordinator. So, and she helps with just a lot with that. So the Hometown USA Parade, it is the parade that happens during 4th of July week. It always falls on the Friday. And it's an evening parade because we're in summertime and it's very hot. We did move it to 6 p.m. this year at request of the mayor. Yeah, you made the request a long time ago. So the parade's at 6 instead of 7.
I moved it up, because I didn't want to conflict with the Rooster Tail Festival that was going
Yes.
on. That was another primary reason.
So this year, we've done quite a bit of changes with the parade. Some of these changes came after the Christmas parade when we made adjustments with how we stationed our police officers and with the incident that happened at a Christmas parade not in our community, where lives were lost and someone crazy just drove down the middle of the road. So what we changed is, the first thing is our rules. You can no longer just enter a random vehicle into the parade and slap your logo on the side and partake in the parade. Instead, you have to contribute to the theme of the parade, which is Hometown USA Parade. Vehicles, unless they are a vintage vehicle or like a vintage tractor, vintage, anything in the vintage, and then the hydroplanes, obviously, vehicles are required to be pulling a float, because this is gonna slow down their speed. This is gonna make us, manage those a little better. And then also, there can be vehicles like with the princesses on the back of them, but we changed those rules, because it used to just be endless vehicles through the parade advertising their business. This gives us a little more management and a little more oversight, to prevent an accident. The other big thing is we usually just have the fiberglass barriers along all the side streets, along Main Street. We have worked with the police department to change that, and how many officers do
We have 21 officer units that will be there, cars blocking most of the main roads, so not all the alleys, but they will be patrolling back and forth to help monitor those. And those are labeled as like the blue dots on your event map that we provided.
Yeah, so, these vehicles are gonna be, the police vehicles are gonna be at those major intersections, and the officers will be patrolling. So they will be near their vehicle, but in case there's an incident, they will be able to immediately hop into their vehicle, because chasing down a vehicle on foot just isn't feasible. So, it also puts a vehicle barricade on those side streets, so we're gonna prevent traffic from getting in by doing that. And this is a major change that we made.
Well, that's
And it
one
was
that's
for
needed
safety.
for safety. I'm glad to see the presence of MPD and hard surfaces there to, keep our parade spectators and participants safer. There's a lot of entrance and exit points along this parade route that before we really hadn't focused much on with regard to making it a safer, tighter event, but now I'm glad to see we are. Can you address INDOT and the detour for Highway 421 and how
Yeah,
that's
so
being
we're
managed? Because
actually-
I think you're pretty far, I think you're talking about going all the way down to East Street.
Yes, so what we have, and Kim may be able to help with this, is we have an officer redirecting traffic onto, we'll let Kim. We have officers that will be there to help guide the detour.
Yeah, it'll actually go to St. Michael's Street, and traffic coming off 421 will turn on to Third, go to St. Michael's out to Main Street.
So it'll go, so we'll go all the way down to St. Michael's, and all of the vehicle traffic, including trucks, will be detoured up St. Michael's and
Yes.
around that curve,
Yes.
over to Third, and then turn right on Jefferson
Yes,
Street?
There'll be no parking
Yeah.
signs placed by the police department on St. Michael's.
And notifications given to the homeowners. We've done this in years past. This allows us to keep that section open for as long as possible, but at some point, we have to close it off to get the floats in there safely. Last year, we were not allowed to close it as requested in our approved street closure, and it caused some safety concerns for people moving their floats into the area for parade lineup. So we're keeping it open as long as we possibly can, and then we're gonna have officers stationed there to help with parade lineup, keep everyone safe, and then we'll begin redirecting traffic as the floats are coming in and as the parade kicks off.
Did we use St. Michael's last year?
Yes.
And how did that work? I mean, I'm just a little concerned about semi-traffic, for example, trying to make those turns, whereas obviously Walnut Street's a straight shot to 421, or even East Street is more of a straight shot until you get to Allenback over to 421. How did that down? Did INDOT, I'm assuming INDOT approved that detour last year.
Yes. And the police put up the temporary no parking by their order. They place those signs, and so there is plenty of room because there's no cars on either side of the street here to turn.
Okay.
So you're probably thinking Christmas parade. We don't do that for Christmas parade because there's less entrance into the Christmas parade. So for Christmas parade, we actually keep the intersection open and have officers there guiding it. It is not possible because of parade lineup.
Yeah.
For the
No, I'm
4th of July
thinking
parade.
of the Fourth of July parade and really focusing on that east detour. West detour, I'm assuming, same, top of Hanover Hill.
Yes.
So you'll get to a certain time, and then you won't allow any more vehicle traffic to come downtown, except for maybe the power plant. Otherwise, they need a detour across the hilltop and around. But see, they're gonna have the same problem, right, when whichever direction they're heading. If they're coming east, they've got a detour to get north on 421, but if they're heading east instead of coming east, then they've gotta find their way back downtown. So how are we handling that flow of traffic? They turn left on South 421 onto Third Street and around and come around St. Michael's that way to go east on 421?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just looking at both directions. It
Right.
seems that St. Michael's is a hard street to navigate, but the shortest distance would definitely be what you've identified here, which is across Third and over that way. But we did this last summer too?
Yes.
And it worked okay?
And have no issues.
done it.
Really?
For
Okay.
years.
I don't want to create issues. I just want to understand it.
Yeah.
Well.
That's what was recommended by the police department. We've been doing it, I've been doing the parade 7 years. We've always done it that way.
And as you see on the site plan, the police are and even on what was provided by the police department, they have a bunch of police stationed right there to help guide the traffic.
So the normal stops, four-way stops and all that will be taken care, all that traffic through that intersection will be taken care of by the police?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so,
You have the whole list too of
Yeah.
which police officers will be right there.
And the state police also comes in.
So, will you explain again, semis coming off the bridge, what their route of direction will be headed west?
so,
I believe that they usually take them down Second Street.
No,
No.
they'll
Incorrect.
continue
Yeah,
onto
they
Main
go-
Street and then they'll be
Yes.
brought up.
St. Michael's over onto Third and then over to
Yep.
421?
Yes.
Okay.
So they've only got one turn at St. Michael's and Third Street, until they get to 421.
Yes, yes.
And,
And you have a police officer stationed right there to help guide those turns.
right, and so we're talking about maybe 3 hours of that,
Probably less.
okay?
Usually we can run the parade through Jefferson, Maine in an hour.
Yeah, so the parade's longer, as it like continues down, but getting them into the procession will be quicker, so this will open before the parade opens. That's why we don't have barricades there. We have police officers stationed to
Okay.
do that, because they can move it.
And they will be positioned there after the parade for whatever time it takes to get the traffic
Yeah,
out
right,
of it.
yes, yep, they will stay in place until it is safe to get all the pedestrians out of there. Because a lot of kids just run across the street because it's
Right.
closed. And then I think we have the street crew come through, so they'll be there.
They follow the last
Because
float.
they follow the last float, and they'll pull any fiberglass barricades, they'll pull
Okay.
those real quick, so the police will open as the street department gets through. So it's a slow open, starting on the east end.
Well, I like that better too, because it seems like, man, as soon as that last float goes by,
Yeah.
people
Yep.
move barricades and they're on Main Street.
Exactly.
We also need to be aware of the, you know, the flow of traffic on both Second and Third Streets, because there'll be, you won't be able to get onto Von Drive because it's locked.
Yes.
So you've got to be able to have good traffic management on
And you'll-
Second and Third Street to
Yeah,
go
and
east
you'll
and west.
see that there's officers stationed on Second and Third. And a fire truck.
Your staging map is excellent. I mean, you did keep,
Ashlyn did
Picked up.
that, so good job.
yeah, picked up on all the main points there. Yeah, it's a good job. I mean, this is something probably wouldn't hurt to have published in the local paper.
If you want it, Bob, let us know.
It is, I mean, it's a big footprint with a lot going on,
Yeah, it is.
but,
Yeah, there's a lot, and we really had to make a lot of changes just because of that incident that happened right before our Christmas
Yeah,
parade
Milwaukee.
last year, which caused us to change the Christmas parade, and then when we got with Kim, and we got with Kenny, and we got with John, we talked about, can we do this same thing? Can we put these safety measures into place? And then John and Ben ended up working to put together the list of officers and exactly where they would be.
Great, it's a good job.
and I'm assuming we're working with Madison Main Street to communicate with Main Street businesses.
Yeah,
Obviously, they should be familiar with the
There is
parade by
an
now.
email in there.
Yeah,
In the event guide that says, you know, we're emailing to remind you this is taking place, this is when the road will be closed, there's no parking on Main Street from this time to this time. So that's in the event guide packet. There's also, these attention neighbor forms
Letter
that
to
will go
neighbors.
to anyone that's residential parking may be affected, so.
Any
those are in
food
here.
trucks, anything like that gonna be staged in parking lots or anything like that for the folks? Okay. And they'll have a fish fry down at the lower end of town.
Yeah.
That's
it.
real
Yeah,
popular.
we're not doing any
Anything
food
like
with
that.
ours. Now,
The
I don't-
only
I don't-
vendor we have is just BYV.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they'll just have like stilt walkers and stuff by the fountain, and that's it.
Just to
Okay.
keep the crowds entertained before the parade starts.
So,
Very good, thank you.
well, good. And how many float entries do we have so far? Is that going along well, or is that just, that process just starting?
12 to 15 at the
12
moment.
to 15? And will we have, I think music's always great to have in the parade.
You can enter a float and you can get up and sing for everyone.
We want to entertain them, not scare them.
There are bands. Kim's been working
But
with
yeah,
local
the
bands.
high school
Yeah.
bands be
Yep.
great.
Yeah, she just, you confirmed?
Yeah, Southwest,
Yep.
or I'm
Do
waiting.
we-
Madison and Shaw.
Do we reach out to any out-of-town, like
have.
Ripley County or New
Trumbull County,
Washington?
Carroll
or-
County.
Contacted New Washington, Switzerland County,
I mean, that's one of the requests that seems like I always hear every year is the lack of marching bands.
Yeah.
People,
And
it's
the
something
sad thing
people
is,
like.
a lot of them, you know, they're gone on vacations and they don't have
Yeah.
enough to fill
Yeah.
positions. and-
It's easier.
Yeah,
at
it's a bad
Christmas
time out of school, but a lot of them have summer camps
Right.
too, so.
Yeah, it's easier at Christmas time to get those because they're still in school.
Yeah.
And the summer, it's just a lot more difficult to get them. But we do, I mean, we have more floats. That was the complaint we received, is the lack of floats. So that's, the push for floats is really happening.
The one change that I'm happy to hear you say was you're discontinuing businesses entering a vehicle with just a sign on the side of their vehicle advertising,
Yeah,
you know,
they have to
I mean,
contribute.
to me,
the
that's
theme.
not a parade entry.
Yeah, they
you
have
know.
to contribute to the theme of the parade, and Ashland's been in contact with a few that have reached out, and they have been completely understanding.
Yeah, almost everyone that has called, I know, there's been a few who had a truck and they said, oh, we normally just put our banner on it. And I talked to them and they said, oh, that's no problem, you know, we'll put some red, white, blue tinsel and some American flags and whatnot.
I think it's
We'll call it
the
cool.
right thing to do. It adds something for all this. This is for the
Yeah,
spectators,
and they
right?
can still advertise their business. They can still have a banner on the side of their vehicle, but they also must contribute to the theme of the parade. Yeah.
Requires them to be a little bit more creative.
Yes, exactly. Yes, and I will say our Parks Department is doing a float for the parade, so.
Love it.
I hope they remember this, but they are.
This is actually a
I think it's
reminder.
great. Board, any additional questions for Ashley, Nicole, or Kim? Good job on this.
Cool. My name's Hannah.
I'm sorry, Hannah. Sorry.
Are the fire trucks gonna be?
I was looking at that over there.
Yeah.
I was already skipping to the PACE program.
The fire trucks gonna be,
We
fire
are
trucks,
dressed alike today, but it's fine.
I,
What's that, fire truck?
fire trucks in the parade, yeah.
I love it, and the hydroplanes.
Yep.
Like 20.
well, after reviewing the document over the weekend and, see the effort that was put into it, again, I appreciate your efforts. There's been a lot of thought put into this. It's a mile parade route with, like the mayor said, there's several entrance and exit points. That's a tough one to
Yeah.
dock, you know, so
It's
I appreciate
It's a
your
hard one to
efforts
have all
on
the
this.
resources to cover safely.
Yeah.
And we don't want to take safety for granted, but we want it to be enjoyable, successful, but most importantly, very, very safe.
Safe.
I make a motion, we approve the event planning application, for the parade, hometown US parade.
I'll second that motion.
Any additional discussion, any comments or questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Thank you. Good job.
You got one more from us.
We got two more event plans, highlighting all the fun we're gonna have in about a month.
Fireworks. Yeah, we made it Kim also helps with fireworks.
Fireworks.
All right, what would you like to know? The fireworks are happening.
So the main thing about the
Thunder
fireworks.
over Madison.
Yeah, I think you've understated the potential attendance at the event because
What'd you
it's a
put?
very, very popular, you could have, 8,000 to 10,000 people here for
Oh, yeah.
fireworks.
I
Pretty
don't know what
easily.
we put. What we put.
This is one where, it is happening inside another venue that's already occurring, because it's inside the Regatta Festival venue. It looks like you've outlined what we're doing from a safety perspective, trash management, crowd management, because we'll have police department resources available that night too. We
Yeah.
also need to be mindful about how do we get the fireworks goers out of town
And we
quickly?
talked to John about that. So they're going to be down there to help navigate traffic. And then I forgot, where did he say he was gonna put a police car to help navigate the traffic? I don't know that I put that in here, but we met with John to chat about making sure that there's a good flow of traffic getting out of there, making sure pedestrians are fine, and then also making sure, vehicular traffic can get out of there. So they will have officers stationed, and then he gave you who's on duty that evening.
I think that's
That would
as
be down
important
there.
as what's happening down in the footprint, as we've talked about. The impact of a festival the size of Regatta or Chautauqua or Riverfest or others isn't just happening in the footprint, it's happening elsewhere. And that's where a lot of the management happens, or needs to be focused on, because at the end of an event, everybody's gonna wanna go home.
Yeah.
And how do they traverse out of downtown, going in either direction on Main Street? That's gonna be where resources need to be maybe shifted, from the footprint up to Main Street.
Yep, and that's
So
what
we
John
have
does
good
have
traffic
planned.
management.
Yeah, that's what John does have planned. He has a traffic division that's going to be, helping to manage that. They'll have officers there to help guide vehicular traffic. One thing to point out, though, you can't always prevent people from doing stupid things when they're leaving that event. They've told us some stories, but they will be there to do their best to prevent it.
Yeah.
Like the mayor said, this is an event where as soon as it's over with,
Everyone goes.
everybody goes.
Yeah.
So for 45 minutes after the event, the intersection of Jefferson and Main and Mulberry and Main and Second and Jefferson are busy, so.
Yeah, they are.
They need some extra help, yeah.
Yeah, and that's one where I think we should follow up with Chief Wallace a little bit more about, which is, how is traffic going to be, I mean, we see what resources are going to be applied, but how is traffic going to be managed? How is it going to be directed? Where are they coming out of? And, they're going to want to go all
They'll
directions.
have officers stationed at Jefferson and Main and Second and Jefferson, and then I know there's one other area to get them up to the hilltop. Craig.
Oh,
Craigmont.
yes, it is Craigmont.
Yep, just to help
Main Craig.
guide the traffic.
Main and Craigmont,
Yeah.
Jefferson and Main, and Jefferson and Second.
And they have one on Shaw Road as well, as traffic's continuing
Up the hill.
Up the hill, because it's not just downtown, people are gonna be going home to their hilltop homes, so.
True.
And there's music going on about the same time, right?
I believe so.
I think so.
I mean, I know you guys
Can
don't
you
have
tell?
it.
Okay.
She said yes.
Yeah, it
Okay.
starts right after. We make sure it's quiet during the fireworks,
Okay.
and then it starts right after.
Okay. Great backdrop for the Rooster Tail. I do have a question, and this came up when we were talking with Regatta about their event, and that is a weather delay. A weather delay. I think Matt True had mentioned, because we have to go through specific approvals with Coast Guard to have the barge on the river, and it's planned to be there Saturday, but you have an alternate day here of Sunday.
It won't,
We've only postponed it maybe once. We shoot even in the rain.
yeah,
So unless there's lightning,
yeah,
yeah, we've never canceled, so.
so,
Tornado.
Lightning?
yeah, so,
Okay.
it would just, be delayed. I mean,
Really not
Yeah.
issue delaying it.
the
either.
good thing is it's on the river, so the wind doesn't affect it too much either. I mean, where I grew up, if it was windy, we didn't have fireworks shows because you're gonna have a forest fire.
Yeah.
If it was windy, so it's never been delayed. If it's raining, we're still having the fireworks show. Just put on your ponchos, everyone.
Okay. I would like you to share this with Regatta so they can see what we're planning for inside their event.
Yeah,
So that there's good communication back and forth with regards to the resources we'll be applying during that short period of time, because there will be a lot of people on the river for the music festival at that time of day.
Do we have a sponsor for the fireworks?
we do. It's
Arvin Sango is our title.
Arvin's?
Arvin
There you go.
Sango's our title
Great.
sponsor this year, and then we have other various sponsors, but they are our title sponsor, so we appreciate that.
That is awesome.
Fireworks are very expensive. I don't think the public knows that, but the fireworks cost us $30,000 each year. So
Great. Nice to have a sponsor.
we're just shy.
Arvin Sango.
I think we're
good
just
for our
short, maybe
community.
$4,000, if
Right.
that. I
So
mean,
if
we're
anyone
very
wants to
close.
sponsor still, please let us
It's
know. But
Yeah.
that's for all summer events. I mean, we have secured sponsorship for
That is,
everything.
well, congratulations, because it takes a lot of work to arrange all the sponsorships to provide all the free events that happen across our community throughout the summer.
Yep.
It's great.
And who drew the barge? Y'all do that? That's nice.
Ashland. It's pretty good if I do say so myself.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty good. It's really good.
Looks like an oil tanker to me, but,
It's fine.
other than that, it's really good.
Fine.
Gives you a visual of what's gonna happen.
It's a great visual. So I'll move, unless there's any additional questions or comments by the board, I'll move that we approve the safety plan for for the Hometown USA fireworks show.
I'll second that motion.
It's the firework extravaganza.
Firework
but
extravaganza.
You're fine.
Ashlyn, can you spell that?
She can.
This is not a spelling bee. It's not what I signed
Any
up
additional
for.
comments or questions? We're gonna put Abigail on the spot here in a minute, so
Oh, Abby.
she's been too quiet. Any comments, questions from the audience? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
Good job.
Good job. Chief, we already approved the Riverfront Run Car Show. We thought that was an excellent plan that you had put together, and we appreciate all the focus on safety in that. It's going to be a successful event, and you've guaranteed the weather is going to be warm. All the above. Kim, would you like to come up and talk about another fun tradition in Madison? My money's on,
Four.
I think there's going to be a tie between the threes and the fours.
No question, the threes.
Maybe.
I'm
Are you
coming
part
out
of
of
the sixes?
retirement.
Are you a six or a two? Oh, you're a one,
He's a
okay.
one.
Who's the judge?
There's no rivalry
You judge
between
it, then give
any
the
of the
score.
fire
Oh, okay.
departments.
I'll set the playing field up and go outside there.
As a former three-time champion, I may come out of retirement.
Uh-oh. Challenge,
Come on.
challenge accepted.
Not,
All right. Kim, thank you for putting together this. Tell us a little bit about the Waterball fight.
Okay, the Waterball fight will be held on Tuesday, June the 28th. The actual event is at 6 PM. We'd like to close the streets around 4:30 for setup, and we should be done by 9 PM. It's a free event to everyone in the public. We encourage everybody to come down and enjoy it. It's also just a fun event for the fire departments. They,
So last year, Kim, was that the first year it was at that location?
Yes.
And how did that work out? I wasn't able to make
I thought it worked rather well.
Okay.
You know, we didn't seem to have any problems whatsoever.
And you had enough space? I mean, I know we've normally done it in front of the courthouse. Might have done it on the river once before,
We didn't-
long
yeah, that
time
didn't
ago.
work well.
What's that?
The river didn't work well.
No, okay.
Yeah, it's always been a good event on Main Street.
Although you did have a waterball fight at, was it one of our cookouts recently, last year? I thought that worked out pretty good.
Yeah,
But you can't do it during regatta week, obviously, because there's too many
right.
other
Campers.
vehicles and campers and stuff down there.
we've also had it on Jefferson Street in front of the dollar store. I'm showing my age now, but this
Wow.
was back in the 70s.
Yeah,
Before my time.
Yeah,
before my time too.
Wow. And the street closure will be west side of Poplar to the east side of Elm Street.
Correct.
Broadway will be closed from the north side of the island, just below Main Street, to the south side of Third Street. Looks like you have plenty of area there. Where's the water come from? You hook up to
Our
hydrants down there? I mean, is there hydrants down in that block?
Good ones.
No, so all good flowing hydrants? Okay, good. Didn't know that.
We won't use the one on the southwest corner of Broadway, that's not a good high.
Okay.
But we've got another one right there that we can hook onto inside the footprint, and probably engine 3 will come for the event again this year.
Okay.
They've already approached me and asked if they could, and I said, by all means, yeah.
And so the op center will be located at the truck on the north side of Broadway on Main Street.
Correct.
Okay. Well, the good news about this event is, it is hosted and participated in by all of our, public safety professionals. So if anything is happening, they're already on site.
Yep,
And then what we just need to do is, again, like we've talked about before, partner with, Hannah's, team and, Chief Wallace's team to make sure we get notifications out and have good traffic management, before and after the event. And good detour signs, because they'll be coming in from different directions and have to go north or south. Sometimes it's hard to get around if you're not familiar with
right.
town. Kim, how is this process? This is a new process we're implementing. It's still an evolving process. I will tell you, it was very helpful to us to see the level of planning that is happening, but also for us board members of, being responsible for the safety of everybody who's participating and spectators, but also to have the information, who to contact, what is the planning that's gone into it. Because there are some event organizers that don't have your all's experience at safety planning. So how was this process? And
I thought it was a fairly easy process.
Okay.
I mean,
Good.
I went through, I think it was a 13-page plan. When we did the car show, the fillable form wasn't available then. And I just went in and spelled everything out. I didn't have any problems with it, nor did I have a problem with the fillable forms, so.
okay, good.
It makes you think though, when you read through all the different,
It
parts
does.
of the city that's involved with most any of the festivals.
Right.
Does make you think.
Well, it's, again, a lot of this is to just add some structure, but also so that we can be aware of how do we manage things that's happening outside the footprint, because there's an impact that's happening with all of the events. We did this 40 times last year. So thank you for working through that with
That's
us.
another free event, so,
Absolutely.
yeah.
There's a
For the
lot to do
community
in
and
Madison
fun
in
for
the summer.
Fire departments, I hope, so.
What's that? Sorry?
I said it's free to the community and fun for the fire
Right.
departments, I hope, so.
Kim,
Statistically, I did want,
Go ahead.
statistically, who's won the most water balls fights?
Depends on which decade you're in.
The twos, the ones.
Yeah.
Twos were
Oh, dominant,
unbeatable for, what, maybe 10 years,
yeah.
20 years.
20 years?
Yeah.
You just couldn't touch them. Threes had a spell where they were dominant. The past few years, the ones have kind of been untouchable, so.
And the fours will always participate.
Fours,
Yeah, yeah.
fours are always
Yeah,
there.
they're always there.
Well, it doesn't have a ladder, so they're at a little bit of a loss.
Yeah, yeah, working on flat ground's not good for us.
Well, I think it's fantastic, and thank you again. Any other comments or questions for Kim on the water ball fight?
Kim, I just had a question on the, I guess it'd be the traffic management part. With Main Street being closed and Bond Drive being, well, yeah, Bond Drive probably partially closed that day. I know we banned trucks off of Main Street, but we still get the occasional semi down Main Street. How are we going to control semis during that period of time? The ones that sneak through the signs?
I will have a 4x4 road closed ahead sign at Main and Jefferson, and if they come past that, they'll have to wait.
Well, and also on the
And
west
on the
end.
other- On the other side also. We
So-
will put one at Vernon that states road closed ahead. And we will have the arrows there. Now, what we intend to do on the east side of the footprint is we intend to use Poplar and Central. We're gonna have signs there that says westbound traffic, turn south here and go down
Okay.
Second Street.
Yeah.
And if you wanna go back eastbound, you'll turn on Poplar and go back east.
Right,
So that should take care of our smaller traffic. Naturally, if a semi gets in there, he's not gonna make those turns.
right.
Yeah.
And that was my concern, really, on both sides. but-
Probably have an MPD officer there just in case of that. If they do come past the road closed ahead signs, then they can address the semi being actually on Main Street.
Yeah.
At that point in time during the day, we do not have delivery trucks up and down Main Street. They're not making local deliveries. If they were there, they're going straight through.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay, that was one of my concerns, so, thank you.
It's nice to have an in with the street department, the fire department.
I know. And he's been to this rodeo a few times.
Phew.
Board would like to move that we approve the safety event plan for the water ball fight.
Second the mayor's motion.
Any discussion? Any comments or questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed. Kim, thank you very much. I'm glad you were able to make it today, so we can personally thank you.
I'm only here because you said I had to be. so-
Well, thank you. That means a lot to me, Kim.
Thank you. We
Take care.
appreciate it.
Bye. All right, moving on. We do have some work to do with regard to PACE applications, another successful application round, I think you'll see. And we'll wrap up. Nicole, Michelle is here.
Hopefully my computer works.
So we're having a little technical difficulty with the second TV over there, so we'll just use the one up here and share it. All right.
All right, yes, so I have 10 applications that went through review by the PACE Committee at this round. The first being at 613 Walnut Street. This is an application by RJL Properties. They were approved for funding to remove and rebuild the side porch. They are still waiting for Historic Board approval, but they are on the next agenda for that review. The grant amount for this property would be $4,375.
Yeah.
Nicole,
That one for sale.
I just have a question. since they're awaiting historic board approval, I'm just wondering about approving the PACE grant prior to historic board approval.
We've done it in the past with just the approval contingent on historic board approval.
Okay.
These are parallel processes they have to go through. I mean, sometimes you might even have to do a zoning or a plan commission or something like that. There's potentially 4 different boards involved in the financing and approval process for an application like this. And so we make each one conditioned on all of the required approvals for that. And it just helps kind of usher it along quicker rather than doing it sequentially and taking several months.
This
Good
would be a
question,
nice
though.
improvement, that neighborhood, because it's on the alley there and you can see it. I mean, it's very visible from the street, so it's going to make a nice improvement to that neighborhood.
This is, wasn't Buck a former sheriff?
Buck Shipley?
Shipley?
Yeah.
Yeah, so former sheriff of Jefferson County lived there. And this is also, as Nicole's about to point out, in our targeted revitalization area, so.
Yes.
Well, I like the looks of the finished product, if
Yeah.
that's what it's,
Yeah, that's what he intends for it to be.
yeah. Very good improvement.
I'm assuming you want me to do these in a batch?
Yeah, let's do each of them in a batch.
Okay.
So as you've got them identified on the agenda.
So the next application is 1205 West Main Street, owned by Harvest Properties. This is a dilapidated structure. They're going to be working on the floor joists, siding, windows, as well as the exterior, other parts of the exterior. The grant amount for this property would be $25,000.
So this is vacant and dilapidated? I mean, from the
Yes.
outside, it doesn't look that bad, but you've
Yes,
inspected it.
it's much worse when you get inside. The floor joists are starting to cave towards the center of the building.
Can you talk a little bit about what the exterior is gonna look like? Assuming that they removed, is that vinyl siding on the house?
It is, yes, they're gonna re-side it. I don't have what the material will be, but they're gonna replace, there's a couple of windows that are also rotten that they're gonna replace, and then they're gonna fix what they can.
Okay. 1205.
The next application is 222 West Second Street, Kevin Watkins. They previously tore off some asbestos siding on this house to reveal the original siding. So his grant request is to repair the original siding and paint it, as well as work on that front porch.
That whole
just
block is just,
renovating it.
everybody's worked on that entire block, which is
Yeah.
great.
And his grant amount is $7,500.
I don't know, Board, if you've seen the new garage he's built
Yeah.
adjacent to that on the Poplar Street side. It looks very nice, too.
It's amazing.
The next property is 702 West Main Street, Jim Pruitt. He's going to be working on this building, removing the paint, tuck pointing, and working on 8 windows and door and transom.
Is the brick gonna be natural, or is it gonna be painted, or has he got that
I
part?
believe that he is gonna keep it natural.
So once it's peeled,
Plan is to have the paint scraped and through chemical application, remove the paint, expose the brick, revitalizing the building back to its former beauty.
Yeah, I don't
Good.
show that he's gonna repaint it.
And there's a lot happening in that little corridor, too. The trolley barn just opened. We've got Mad Love there. The school is down the street. There's another business I know that's gonna relocate in that, or locate in that block. Attic is adjacent to it, catty corner. Great project.
And his grant amount is $7,500. The next project is 821 Walnut Street in our target area, Dana Lemon. She's working on this dilapidated structure. It previously had a PACE grant, but the owner sold it, voiding that grant, so she went ahead and reapplied for the same work. They're going to take down this rear addition and restore the interior, as well as new windows for the front. I have a whole list.
The demolition of the structure on the rear, is that gonna be replaced with new or just taken away?
I'm reading. I believe that it is just going to be removed.
Okay.
But they're gonna restore that back side.
Okay.
And her grant amount is $25,000.
Do you have a good understanding of what the exterior facade on the front is gonna look like? Are they gonna do what Jim was doing with the other property and, take it down to the natural brick? Is it gonna be?
They are
is it
not,
be
they're gonna
painted?
they're gonna paint this one. It's
Okay.
gonna receive all new windows, gutters, downspouts, clean, tuck point, and paint the front exterior,
Is it getting a new roof?
and 2 doors.
Do you know if it's getting a new roof?
I don't know, I would
roof.
assume so, we don't cover roof
Those are the hole-
replacements.
Oh, yeah, 'cause,
Yeah, we don't
Carl
cover-
Carl just confessed to cutting a hole in that roof.
Yeah,
We did.
we don't
For
cover
the
roof
fire.
replacements with PACE, but I would assume that it would be getting a new roof.
Okay.
Her goal is to completely restore the property.
You know, the windows actually looked like they were fairly new.
They are newer. If you can see in the black and white photo, they don't fit those openings, so
Oh,
she's
okay.
gonna
Yeah, I
get
see
windows that
I
fit.
see the tags there still on the
Wow.
window thing.
Yeah.
That was gonna be my next question was there discussion, I mean, with these windows, it don't look right
Yeah, she's
because
gonna
they
remove,
don't fit.
she's gonna remove those and replace them with windows that fit.
And I don't know if those were original 6/6 windows that were in there.
These are vinyl windows, so they aren't the originals. This is a federal, so it could have had 6/6. It may have been modernized later for 1/1s. We have a lot of variety in Madison.
So she is going to replace the windows?
Yes,
Because I thought I'd read in there where it sounded like she was going to keep the windows, but do something to fill in the void,
Still like the large flared ton. I think I-
kind of the way.
That's cool.
I had,
Yeah.
she's either gonna keep these windows and fix so that they fit, or she's gonna replace them. She hadn't fully decided yet. In her application, she does have that she's just gonna keep the windows and, make it work with, additional header and sill work. But we've had additional discussions about whether that's the right move.
Okay.
The next application is 103 East Main Street by the Ohio Theater. They are working on repairing the windows, both front and rear, as well as pointing the masonry. Their grant amount is $7,500.
Another good project. I'd really like to see eventually some facade work on the front of the Ohio Theater, if we could get to that. I know that marquee is extremely expensive, but the rest of the facade, love to see some work on that soon.
The next application is 1001 West First Street, John Bruns.
Oh, yeah.
This is a dilapidated structure. He's gonna be working on demolishing the unsafe rear addition and then working on the structural repairs needed. You can see in that photo, that is one of the floor joists in the main portion of the building. Several of them are split like that. A couple of them are hang on by a couple of electric wires.
Wow.
So, also one of those that doesn't look as bad on the outside as it is on the inside. But he's gonna be really restoring this. In addition to PACE, he's gonna be putting on a new rear addition that's not covered with the grant, to turn this into his home.
Well, I also just want to mention that the work he's doing here far exceeds what we're putting in, what we're showing in this. So, as we talk about leveraging dollars, we're really leveraging a lot more than $22,000 in investment into this property. If you could look into that again, because I think it should properly reflect the total investment with the $22,000.
Yeah, he doesn't have the full cost of construction yet, and he didn't want that to wait,
Okay.
make him wait for PACE,
Okay.
so he put
That's
in the
another
match.
corridor that's really coming along nicely with new investment.
And the grant amount on his application is $22,445. The next application is 515 East Street, Sydney Tevenaugh. He is working on tuck pointing on this building.
A lot of great work going there too.
Yeah, they're doing a
looking
bunch of
really good.
other work, but tuck pointing is their primary concern right now. Their grant amount is $7,500.
I think this is, our third or fourth grant just for that block between Third and
We
Pretty
did one
close.
at- Did we do one at Casper's?
Casper.
Yes,
And then across the street,
Oh, yeah, and,
so that's,
yes,
Yeah.
great. A lot of potential in these areas. Is that part of our targeted areas? Did we cover East
He is
East
right on
Street
the
in that?
edge of it,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
Mhm. Yeah, that side of East Street is in, the other side is not.
This one here is pretty exciting. This has been an eyesore for a very, very long time on
Yes.
Pinehurst, so this is a hilltop property.
Yes, this is our second hilltop property of the program for 1114 Pinehurst. I'm not going to attempt to say the applicant's name because I don't want to butcher it.
Yeah,
But they are asking for full demolition of this unsafe structure for the rebuilding of a new home at the site. The grant amount request is for $8,862.50.
Board, you have other pictures in the application that describe the severity of the condition of this property. The neighbors will be very, very happy when this one finally comes down.
So this property will be demolished
Yes, this is a dangerous structures grant.
and
It'll be,
replaced with a,
yep, fully demolished and replaced with a new home.
because I, as reading through there, I was kind of confused on what was gonna occur there, so,
Yep, it is a full demo.
okay. Yeah, it needs it.
And the final application I have for you is 727 through 733 West Third Street, or known as the Garber House. Applicant Accelerate Investments LLC. This building is unsafe. It has some foundation structural issues that they're currently working on. And they have requested PACE to help pay for part of that work for the amount of $25,000.
will this become or remain an apartment building?
They have talked about it being a combination of apartments and Airbnb.
Okay.
Is this recently sold?
Yes.
I was told by someone in the neighborhood, you've been around the building, but they told me that the back side, which is used for the front side, was originally the back side of this property. And the front side, which goes to Main Street, was their original plan, but the Main Street lot was sold off years ago.
Yes. Yep.
So that is true then?
Yes, it
When you
is.
look at it, it's hard to see this time of year especially, but the fancier side of the house.
Is on the back side now.
I've never
yes.
seen that.
I've been told that
Can you see
too.
it from an alley? Is there an alley that runs?
No, but
No.
if you stand on Main Street and look off to the furthest side between the houses, you can see the decorative work around the
Yeah, they
doorways.
said they're a front yard, you just go all the way to Main Street.
Yep.
and
I believe
the
it.
Garden area. and
Very
all that.
similar to the two houses that are next to the school.
Ralph Storm lives in front of it.
Yeah, Ralph Storm.
Oh, that's the, is it right there on that, what's that, what name of that street that's right across the street from?
Vernon Street.
Vernon,
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay,
I want to walk into Ralph's backyard and look up there and see what Carl was talking about.
Interesting.
I just never have
I've
thought of that.
never seen the front of that
Yeah.
house.
Not many people have.
Wow, great to see that investment happening, because again, that's
Yeah.
on Third Street and West Third Street, there's some good things happening down there too.
That is all the applications I have for you.
So in summary on the new applications, is this right that the applications requested, it totals $140,682.50? the majority of which, 118,000, is in the targeted revitalization areas?
Yes,
that
either
where you are?
targeted, they're
Targeted or
either in the
dilapidated?
areas or dilapidated.
Okay, got you. Good, good.
Well, I make a motion that we approve the, PACE grants for the applications that you have just reviewed with us. That would be at 613 Walnut, 1205 West Main, 222 West Second, 702 West Main, 821 Walnut, 103 East Main, 1001 West First, 515 East, 1114 Pinehurst, 732 West Third.
733.
There's 33, close enough.
I'll second that motion.
Board, any discussion? Any comments or questions from anyone? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Thank you. Great investments here.
And we're still taking applications for our next round. We still have funds available, so if anyone would like to apply.
Love it.
I've already got one application for the next round, so very popular.
Good deal. Well, it's making a difference all across town. Moving on to Midpoint.
Yes. I have two midpoints for you. Yes, two. The first one is 921 West Main Street. You've got kind of have a before and after shot there. Catherine Trueblood, she's working on this dilapidated deck that was causing structural issues to the home. She's primarily worked on fixing those structural issues. She's not quite finished yet, which is why she's asking for the midpoint grant amount of $8,750.
So, how, I thought there was a $7,500 limit on the rehabilitation grant, and you're saying this was a
There
different
is,
category?
this property was deemed to be dilapidated because of the structural issues that the deck was causing. It's tied into her floor joist on her second floor and was pulling the entire building.
Okay. Okay. And the PACE committee was okay with that
Yes.
designation? Okay.
So she had to stabilize that area of the home. where
Yes.
The porch is at.
Yes.
Okay.
The second midpoint is for 107 East Fifth Street. Dave Patterson is working on this building, everything on the exterior from the roof down. You can see the progress he's made. He's taken off all the old materials and replaced windows and is getting ready to put up siding.
It's got a great standing seam roof on that property, and that's
Yes.
another corridor with the work Dr. Kaler's done there. What will this exterior siding be on this property? Do you know if it's gonna be a smart siding, flap siding?
Let me pull up the full application. I don't have that in this packet. But his
trim.
grant request, while I'm pulling that up, is for $3,750. I believe it's wood. It's gonna be wood clapboard siding.
Okay.
Those are the only two midpoints I have for you.
Okay, well, I move that we approve midpoint applications for 921 West Main and 107 East Fifth Street as presented.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thanks. Moving on.
Starting with the finals. This is the before of 142 East Fountain Alley, Charles Requette. They worked on this carriage house, tuck pointing, and gutters. They've completed this project according to their PACE grant and restabilized the structure. They're asking for their full amount of $7,500.
great property. Any comments or questions on the final pay app for 713, 750?
Nope, haven't done that one yet.
Sorry, what?
Sorry, I may have gotten them out of order.
What's that?
This is,
142 East Fountain
142
Alley.
East
Oh,
Fountain
my
Alley.
bad. Oh, there it is, right there. Yeah. Okay. Keep going.
The next, final application is for, 713, 715 West Main Street. Steve Buchanan, he worked on this dilapidated, structure and really transformed it into a great-looking home on Main Street. Everything on the exterior as well as stabilizing the interior and, rear addition. His project has been completed according to his PACE grant and is asking for the disbursement of the full amount of $25,000.
That's a nice property. Several in that, if you go back in the alley behind that had been.
Yeah, over on Second
refurbished,
Street.
and it's-
Yes.
Looks nice.
Yeah, the work that Mad Love's done with their building and property back there, and the whole block looks great. Now, the trolley barn right next to it's been renovated and reopened, which is great. Any comments or questions on these two final PACE applications? Hearing none, move that we approve final PACE applications for 142 East Fountain Alley and 713, 715 West Main Street.
I'll second that motion.
Comments or questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Now to extensions.
Yes, I have 3 extensions for you. The first is Charles Requette, for 735 North Jefferson Street. He is asking for an additional 4 months and 16 days, making his new deadline as July 31st, 2022. He ran into a couple of issues with contractor and supply chain issues. His grant, amount was $4,887.50. He has not received any disbursements.
Okay. Which property is that?
I believe it is the Blue House, right as you turn onto Jefferson, close to Saddle Tree Factory.
Oh, down there, okay.
Across the bridge.
Yes.
Okay.
The second, extension is Len Pennington at, 227 West Main Street. He's requesting an additional 3-month extension for the new deadline of August 31st, 2022. This is his second extension, but he still is within the 1-year total extension. He is also running into some issues with contractors, trying to get the stucco work completed.
It's been remarkable what he's already accomplished with that property.
Yes.
You know, it's right next to the comfort station.
Lots of work.
Up there toward Poplar
On the
Street.
west side?
Yeah,
Lots of work in the alleys back there
yeah.
again.
On those garages back there
Oh,
off of
yeah.
Second Street.
Better and better.
Okay.
The final extension is for Carla Bossler at 611 East Second Street. She's requesting a 2-month extension, for a new deadline of July 11th, 2022. She actually, is working with an engineering firm. They're rescoping her project, because the work that was originally, created for her project is more than what she needs. So they're working on getting a contractor lined up for that now. And she also has not received any disbursement. Her grant amount was for $7,500.
Okay.
I make a motion, we approve the extensions of the PACE grants at 735 North Jefferson, 227 West Main, 611 East Second Street.
I'll second that motion.
Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed? Awesome. The work that you're doing with PACE continues to be fantastic. We appreciate it. We appreciate all the private investment that's happening. And maybe I would just have one suggestion. I know that you're keeping a tally of the various different funds that are available, but if you could add to that, you know, the leveraging as we go through, that's also really good information. I
That's
think.
a condensed version of a much larger spreadsheet that already has that
Okay,
information on it.
awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on to claims, please.
Mayor had an opportunity to review the claims. I'll make a motion that the claims be approved as submitted.
I'll second David's motion.
Okay. Any Comments or questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Thank you. Mayor's comments, nothing much. We've had a long meeting today. I appreciate everybody who is supporting events across our community. This will be the last meeting we have in May, and as we roll toward Memorial Day weekend, we want everybody to enjoy the holiday and the weekend and all the activities across the community, do it safely, and part of that just being aware of your surroundings. And you can see all of the time we're spending on event management and guidelines and to make it safe and successful. We'll also mention too that we have a public hearing tomorrow night in City Council ahead of the third reading for the ordinance with regards to the clean drinking water project we've been working on for the last couple of years. So that will be at City Council tomorrow night. That's all I want to mention now. Are there any public comments? Anybody like to address the Board of Public Works? Hearing none, I'd like to introduce Abigail Hill and maybe ask our clerk treasurer to tell us a little bit about Abby and what she's going to be doing this summer with the clerk's office.
So Abby has been working hard to clean up some sorely long neglected areas of storage for the city, starting with the vault downstairs and working in the room upstairs that has a lot of the financial records for the past 10 years. So she's done a tremendous job. I expected that would take her much longer, but she managed to do a great job and knock that floor out quite quickly last week. So I wanted to give her the opportunity to be present at the Board of Public Works and act as our clerk treasurer in that regard and do roll call. And so we are grateful to have her, and we will be working to move all the documents that are down in the vault that has water issues upstairs as well, so, and try to put all the documents together instead of the three various areas that they've been placed in over the years.
Well, as you can probably tell in your short time of being in the clerk's office, there's a lot of information that passes through City Council, Board of Public Works, Clerk Treasurer's office, and Mayor's office, as well as all the different boards and committees. And so information management is challenging, and I'm glad that you're placing the right amount of focus on it. A lot of progress we can make in that way.
She will have it all knocked out before this summer is over without question.
So Abigail, tell us a little bit about what you're doing outside of the summer. Where are you going to school? What year are you going to be in? And what you're majoring in?
So I currently attend Purdue University, and I am majoring in marketing. I'll be a sophomore this coming fall.
Also proud to say that she is a graduate of our internship program that the City of Madison had here before she went off to college. So welcome back, and performing a much needed role inside the clerk treasurer's office as we continue to make progress in some things there.
Thank you.
All right, board, anything else before we adjourn?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second that motion.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Thanks everyone for being here. Great meeting, as always.